Hi everyone, it's Miss Sote. So the reason I wanted this last example to be in a video was because I wanted you to be able to come back to this video whenever you want, in case method 3 was the method that really helped for you. Since it is the most visual one, I felt like it would be really helpful to have a second example of this one so that we could talk about it a little bit more. So just like in the notes from class, we're going to start by listing out how many x squareds there are, how many x's there are, and how many ones there are. So let's do that. So looking at the x squared, there's not a number in front of it, which means we automatically know there's just one x squared. Looking at the x's, there is a 5 in front, so there are 5 x squareds. And looking at the last part, we just have a 2, which means there are 2 ones, because 2 times 1 is 2. So we follow the same steps that we followed in class today. Let's draw our x squared first. So I'm going to draw my x squared, as much of a square as I can possibly make it. So that step is done. And remember, the reason that we make this one a square is because it's going to be x by x. So x times x is x squared. Alrighty. Now we move on to our x's. And so we have 5 x's that we want to evenly split to the right and underneath. So the way we're going to do that is, let's just go one by one. So I have 1x, which means now I have 4 left. So I put one here. Let's put one here now. All right, now I have 3 left. I'll put another here. Now I have 2 left. I'll do the same thing here. So I've evenly split them so far on the bottom and on the right, and I've used 4 of my x's. But I still have one more x. I have 5 x's. And the only way that I can think of evenly splitting it is splitting the bar in half. So we're going to draw a really thin one here and a really thin one here. And each of these is going to be half an x. And that's going to be really hard to see. Oh, zoom in real close so we can get that written in. So this is going to be half of an x. So now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5, 5. We used all of our x's. And just like we did in class, now let's see how many is each side. So remember, the area of this rectangle is x, which means that this length is x and this width is 1. This length is x, but this width is only 1/2. So 1 plus 1 plus 1/2 is 2.5, or 2.5. So now we know the length of this is 2.5. It's a square, so this is going to be the same situation. And now we've almost fully filled in our box. But now we got to figure out how many singles, how many ones do we need to put there? And so we'll fill it in. So we've got 1 here, 1 here, and then here we kind of run into another weird situation where we've got 1/2 times 1, which is just 1/2. We got 1 here, we got 1 here. Again, we've got 1/2 times 1, which is just 1/2. Here, we've got 1/2 times 1, which is 1/2. Here, we've got 1/2 times 1, which is 1/2. And this last one's the weirdest one. So this one is 1/2 times 1/2, which is 1/4. So counting up all of these, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6, 6 1/4, or 6 6.25. And remember in class, so now we've created our square. So we've got x plus 2.5 squared. But that would be, if we distribute it, it would be x squared plus 5x plus 6.25. But we want x squared plus 5x plus 2. So we have a few too many ones. So let's figure out how many more ones do we have. How do I get from 6.25 to 2? And the way that you do that is we just have to subtract like we did in the last one. So 6.25 minus 4.25 equals 2. So we had 4.25 too many red ones. So we have to subtract that from our equation so that it will be perfect. So now we've got our equation in vertex form. X plus 2.5 squared is the same as x plus 2.5 times x plus 2.5, which if you distributed, you'd get x squared plus 5x plus 6.25. And then remember, we got to subtract that 4.25 in order to get to our 2. If you go to our completed notes, you will also see that I drew it out with more of the highlighting and stuff, and you can see that there. But I also wanted to make sure that we had this video so we could kind of talk through every single step. Sorry if this was a little bit messy, but again, it's just a visual. A lot of other students also kind of like to do it using the box method. So they know that x squared has to go in the corner. They know that 2.5x has to go here, 2.5x has to go here, and 6.25 has to go here. So the x squared is still in that top left. The 2.5x's are on the right and below, and the 6.25 is in the bottom right. And then this kind of looks a little bit more similar to what you did when you were factoring. So if you don't like drawing all of the boxes and stuff, you can also totally use this idea, same exact thing. So that's up to you. Let me know if you have any questions, and have a great day.